appreciate everyone coming today. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please silence your cell phones, please. Ms. Sutherland, would you have a roll call?
Mayor Plummer.
Here.
Commissioner Brooks.
Here.
Commissioner Fields.
Here.
Commissioner Gray.
Here.
Commissioner Withrow.
Here.
We have a quorum and ready for the transaction of business.
Ms. Miller?
Thank you and good morning, Mayor. First item we have is approval of the November 12th, 2024 minutes. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Is there any questions, comments, or revisions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to number 5, special presentations. If Chief and Assistant Chief don't mind coming up, I believe Paul is going to briefly present an item, and I know they'll come back for your guys' department meeting, but he wants to present this item today.
I'm a member of the Citizens Police Alumni Academy, and I want to first of all thank the Commission and Mayor Jamie for allowing us a place on the agenda today. The officers of the association have asked me to make this presentation for them, but I want to recognize that the officers are the President is Jan Worth, Vice President is Jane Robin, Secretary is Linda McCarthy, Treasurer Lois Fricky, and Sergeant at Arms is Linda Benko. The CPAAA will celebrate 25 years of active support of the Paris Police Department this coming January. And it is composed of graduates of the Citizens Police Academy classes that have been held over the years. Many of those years we had 2 classes, spring and fall, some years only 1, but virtually every year there's been a class. It was the brainchild of Patty Carpenter, who is now deceased, but who served the police department and this community for decades. And the association has been a constant partner with the Paris Police Department over the years. Alumni members participate in year-round activities that support the efforts of our police officers. For example, the Cram the Cruiser event, Dairy Queen fundraisers that raise money to support the Shop with the Hero event that's so popular with the community. And we do have a check that we will present later to the police department on that. Members also work as partners with the police department, and they do things like help with traffic control at the Christmas parade. They work with the Halloween event for children, assist officers with Shop with the Hero event, and any other public event where the police officers are involved in a public service activity of the CP, the alumni. We're there to help them and to participate. I think one of the things that we're most proud of is that this year we celebrated the 2nd annual Patty Carpenter First Responders Ball. And we raised a lot of money to invite, so that we could invite every first responder, police, fire, and sheriff's department, every officer and their spouse or date, to attend for an evening of entertainment, a special dinner, a dance, and enough door prizes so that virtually every person took something home with them from that event. The Alumni Association is an official nonprofit organization. We meet monthly, and the stated mission of the association is to generate or enhance a relationship between the community and the Paris Police Department, and to assist the division in appropriate activities to increase the community support for law enforcement, and to assist in the recruitment of persons for the Citizens Police Academy classes that educate our citizens more about our local police force. We have a check to present over $1,000, about $1,200 that we want to present to the police department. But Officer Maley, who is the officer assigned to work with us most directly, is not here this morning, and he and Chief Thomas have asked that we delay the presentation of that check until Todd can be here, and we will do that just before the parade on December the 7th. We will have an official presentation of that check, but I think it's important that the community recognize that the Citizens Police Academy is a living, working organization, working monthly, meeting with the police department, doing what we can to encourage more support for our local police department who do a terrific job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate
Paul,
that.
just not to, steal Paul's thunder, I'd like to say that, we gave another 1,200, from the program we had Sunday, Shop with a Hero. Jan was there, she made a presentation on behalf of the, Police Academy, so they've got another 1,200 on the way too, so.
Chief, Assistant Chief, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Just want to thank, the Citizens Police Academy is a great organization that we really appreciate. It's grown over the years. I think they're up to 30 members now. They work really hard, taking care of the police department and doing events for us and the community. So we really want to thank them. Todd could not be here, and I don't want to. He does all the work. I'm telling you, it's not myself and Assistant Chief. So I just didn't want to hear everybody knows. Yeah. And I just didn't want to have a presentation. We really appreciate the hard work that we do here. Thanks.
Certainly, and Paul, thank you. All of our supporting citizens group, our friends groups, our agencies like that come together to support all of our entities are so valuable, and echo what the chief said is we know that there's so many things that group helps the police department accomplish that we couldn't get done without you all. So we thank you for your time and your effort and your dedication to everybody in the association.
Thank you.
We can maybe after the meeting get a quick picture. That'll be okay?
We'll wait and take pictures at the
The
check
check, okay,
presentation.
perfect, thank you. That brings us to, section 6, our ordinances, second reading. We have ordinance 2024-31, which is adopting a 2024, an ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paris, Kentucky. This was presented at first reading. This would codify all of our ordinances that were passed between April 2024 and June 2024.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further questions or discussion on this item? Hearing none, Ms. Sills, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fields,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Withrow.
Yes.
Motion carries.
This brings us to second reading of ordinance 2024-32, which is an ordinance addressing the opening of bids. This was presented at first reading. This is adding a designated representative for the city manager for the purposes of opening bids.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, Ms. Sills, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fields,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Withrow,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance 2024-33, this is a second reading. It is an ordinance amending the flood damage prevention ordinance. This was also presented at first reading. And what this does is it updates the effective date of the FIS report and firm maps with the effective date of February 28th, 2025, per the new maps that FEMA has published. I did want to add, Commissioner Withrow, you had brought up some other policies and items like that. We specifically ran down on the dugout exemption, found some Board of Adjustment things. Did not find anything that we would necessarily have this updated policy for, but we'll continue to review if there's any additional updates to the policy that references the old date to make sure the new date is incorporated.
I move we approve, ordinance 2024-33.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any further comments or questions on this item? Hearing none, Ms. Ellis, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Fields,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Withrow,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance 2024-34, this is a first reading. It is an ordinance addressing medical cannabis and creating a special license and setting their fees and addressing related processes for such licenses. So if you all recall, in August of this year, we passed ordinance 2024-24, which opted for cannabis businesses to be able to operate in the city of Paris as long as they were within the appropriate zoning. They have applied to the state required buffers and different parameters that were in place. As part of that ordinance, we adopted the fact that there would be a license with a license fee coming. And we also asked the joint planning and zoning to take a look at our other policies to determine if any additional items needed updated. So a lot of communities put this item on the ballot. We've seen that come through. And with that, we're seeing some additional language come from other communities about how are they treating their license? What do those rates look like? What are some administrative requirements they're looking at it as far as how to apply for the license, how to revoke the license, under what categories could a license be denied. So what this ordinance is doing is setting forth those type of items. So it sets the annual fee based on the type of business that would be in place, as well as puts forward some definitions and processes.
Once we have the second reading, would it be possible to put the ordinance in the paper, online, whatever? Because we do have some citizens who want to know a little bit more about it, and they want to know where the city of Paris stands on this particular issue.
Sure.
Okay.
So can you talk a little bit about our ordinance publication?
Yeah, we're required by law to publish in the paper, so that will be published, but we can also add it to the website
Okay.
as well, and we can talk
Okay.
to as what all we wanna put out there too.
Okay.
I'd recommend also, Brian, that boilerplate, like if you don't comply with any other city, you know, like if you don't pay your taxes or you tie it all together. I think that, it might be, I just didn't see that on there.
It is, and we've had that in place for several years.
We certainly have, as we look at our processes and we're incorporating, for example, the alcohol licenses, we've added extra steps and layers to make sure that we're checking for compliance on those items as well. So this is a first reading. I do want to state that we don't have anybody who's come forward to apply for any type of license or anything. This is just us getting ahead of the processes.
I think they're drawing in December the 13th or something for this area, for Central Kentucky.
They did some yesterday.
Yeah, they went Central.
Any comments or concerns on this item? That will bring us to consent agenda. There are only 2 items on consent agenda. Would you like either of these items pulled off to discuss separate? Hearing none, may I get a motion to approve the consent agenda? We have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. This brings us to Municipal Order 2024-90, which is a municipal order approving the creation of the telephone system upgrade project and providing for expedited approval of items related to such project. Mr. Mayhorn is going to present this item to you all.
Good morning. So this is something that we've been talking about, biggest part of this year. Currently the city has an older landline telephone system here at the city of Paris, and over the last several years it's been increasingly difficult and costly to maintain and to keep operating. It lacks a lot of features that we'd like to see. So staff has worked together, and we started on August of 2024 publishing a request for proposals for phone systems. Since that publication, we've received 4 proposals. Out of those 4 proposals, staff has sat down and we reviewed all 4 proposals. We've met with all the vendors, we've looked at the features that they offer, the cost, the implementation process, and staff has had a lot of input on what they would like to see, what features are available. I know one of the biggest concerns that we've had here recently is in the customer service area. We've had some concerns with the current phone system, maybe getting some busy signals or not having the options that the community is looking for. Another one of the features that we were really looking into was being able to transfer outside of city building. Currently, right now, the only kind of transfers that we can do is just inside the building. If a customer calls in and they need to, speak to someone at the fire station, we have to tell them, you have to hang up, call back, call this number. So we want to be able to give a better customer service experience for the citizens of Paris. So currently, right now, the city pays approximately around $21,000 a year for the phone service. The new phone service that we're looking at is going to be an estimated cost of around $24,000 a year. So right now, the staff is recommending the Miller Company for our phone vendor. They are a large company that has offices based out of Lexington, Louisville, Campbellsville, and Lebanon. One of the other things that we took into consideration when selecting a vendor, not only based on price, but we also wanted to look at the features that we need and the implementation process. With the Miller Company, where they are local, they will be on site, pending approval, they will be on site for the implementation, so that pending that everything runs smoothly with that process. I do have a couple of gentlemen here from the Miller Company that can discuss any kind of features or the process if anybody has any questions or concerns with this selection.
How fast can they do it?
We've got the contracts ready.
I mean, it's been an issue for a long time, and we get black eye for when somebody calls and transfer and they just drop them. So, I mean, I think we need to move forward. Should have done it a year ago.
I agree.
I will make sure to state that this was a project that was budgeted for in our capital improvement plan. So this is a planned and budgeted project for us.
Do you need a motion to
We do
approve?
need a motion, yes, please.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, Ms. Mills, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Withrow,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fields.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. This next item does not require any motion, just want to put discussion item forward. As we enter into the legislative session, we always bring before you all some priorities that we've identified, and then we seek any feedback if there are any additional priorities you would like us to consider. And these are important as we talk to our legislative representatives that we're working all of these types of things into our conversation. So the Kentucky League of Cities has published their agenda priorities for this year. I've attached that in your book, and oftentimes their priorities align pretty closely with ours as well. So they are a good representative, but they are focusing on things like modernizing some of the laws related to revenue. Particularly, they will be advocating for things related to the distribution of gas tax, transient room tax, items such as the restaurant tax. I know that's a popular thing that gets talked about each year, so we will continue to advocate that, and that would be something that we would support as well. One of the things that I thought was very interesting that they are looking to support this year is a revenue course similar to how we do our E911. That would open up an avenue for us to be able to do something similar for EMS. So as we look for revenue diversification, and making sure that all of our eggs aren't in one type of bucket, that'll be an important thing that we support as well. They're also looking at some legislation that is supportive of some of our employee areas that are challenged. We know that there are some programs throughout the state, such as police and fire, that have incentive programs built in at the state level. They're looking to potentially advocate for programs related to treatment plant operators for water, wastewater, utility group employees, as well as dispatch. So those are some employee-related items they're looking for. They're also looking at a potential expansion of the use of the opioid funds, particularly related to our public safety crew. They want to reduce any unfunded mandates from the state, which is always something that I'm very supportive of, is the state not putting a mandate on us that there's not funding available for. And then another item I wanted to make sure to highlight, which I thought was interesting, and we'll see how that legislative session goes on it, is the ability for the city to draw down potentially emergency response funds directly from the Kentucky Department of Emergency Management, as opposed to going through a county process. So some interesting things on the radar as far as our identified priorities from a staff perspective. The big one, and I would ask that this be at the top of your list when you're communicating with our elected representatives, is our Kentucky Water applications, which is a loan/grant program that's put out there, has made it through the staff review process. And now it will go forward to go through the legislative process of whether or not we would be able to get funds. This is related to, if you all recall, we brought forward the project that was the 8th Street line, as well as the valve replacement in the hydraulic model. So the staff level has said, hey, that project looks like it would qualify for potential funding under this program. And it'll go to the legislation to decide. Now, once it's in the legislation's hand, they can either decide fund it, not fund it, but beyond funding it, they can either decide that it is a full grant where we don't have to pay anything back, or they could do a partial waiver of repayment or just a low interest loan. Certainly we would be thankful for any support, but as you're talking to our elected representatives, that will be the thing that from a staff perspective, we're probably coming forward with the biggest ask, is if they could help us get any type of waiver of that repayment, that would be very helpful. We'll also look to continue to diversify the revenue streams, protect home rule, unfunded mandates, I mentioned that, and anything that allows us to continue to operate effectively as a local government. So things that aren't constraining our operations unnecessarily. I wanted to open it up for any discussions to hear if you had any concerns with the items that we're putting forward as priorities. Anytime we're talking on behalf of the city, I want to make sure that the commission gets an opportunity to make sure we're on the same page. If there's anything you'd like to add or delete. We've reached out to the representatives, invited them to come early in the session and give an update. We'll get that on the agenda once we hear back from them. So we'll be looking forward to the next legislative season.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to October financials, Brad.
Thank you. On page 82, we'll kind of do some different process here. Didn't realize the cash balance reports ended up at the bottom of the packet. So, but we'll start on page 82 with general fund. You can see total revenues as of the end of October at 4.4 million, right around about 30%, 40% of our budgeted revenues. Prior year was 3.4 million, so about $1 million ahead of where we were last year. Total expenditures, they were at 5.2 million compared to 3.5 million from last year. Once again, we kind of have in our actuals any kind of POs that have been issued. So that would include the purchase of the new fire truck. And that's the reason why we have a higher expenditure than last year. And then also too, I know for November, we just closed on the loan agreement, so we'll be showing that cash coming in to pay for that truck. And so we'll be offsetting that and start getting back into a positive position there in the, our revenues over, or expenditures over revenues as category goes. So I think we're looking pretty good in the general fund. Next couple pages, we've got the trailing 12-month revenue schedule. Do want to say October was a pretty good month for cash collections. On page 84 there, you can see we collected in our main tax categories about 1.5 million compared to about 927 or 928,000 for last year. Most of that was in our payroll tax category, which roughly was the biggest increase in there for about 500,000 for October. So October was a good month financially, and hopefully we're kind of seeing that continue in November as well too. And then on page 90 starts the utility fund. See we're at revenues at 6.7 or almost 6.8 million at the end of October compared to 3.6 million for the same time last year. Have most of that difference is in our grant money, right around 2.9 million for the transfer station. And I think also too, with the new billing rates kind of coming into effect pretty much at the end of September, we're running about 300,000 ahead on utility billing. So with November being the third month, we'll see how consistent we are as far as the increases over last year with the new utility rates. And then our expenditures right now are at 6.5 million compared to 3.6 million for last year. Once again, transfer station is a big driver on that. I think really from an overall payment standpoint, we're right around about 55 to 60% complete with paying for the transfer station and all that. And then also too, we've got started on the water improvements as well too. We'll start seeing that project come through. So revenues over budget on the utility fund are at 306,000 for the period. Kind of skipping through all the way down to the last two pages there, we'll get to the cash balances. At the end of October, operating funds in the general fund were at 7.2 million compared to 6.5 million for the end of September last month. Still have the CDs that are out there, and then our restricted funds pretty much are unchanged. So total cash balance at 10,479,000 at the end of October compared to 9,763,000. Even just looking at last year, we had about 9.8 million or 9.9 million in overall cash balances. So pretty good increase year over year as well too. And then on the utility fund side, operating funds or operating cash balances were at 841,000 compared to 778 for the same time last month, and then 669 for the same time last year. So seeing a good increase there as well too. As far as the restricted funds go, you know, the biggest thing that we do have kind of outstanding there is the 2024 bond issuance. We're still sitting on 3,036,000 for that, and then 1.5 million there on the transfer station. So a lot of that obviously is restricted, and we'll, as some of these projects kind of come into finalization, we'll probably see some drawdowns on that money as well too. So that is the financial reports for October.
Move we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there further questions or discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. That'll bring us to outside agencies. Ms. Betty Ann, you want to kick this off?
Speaking of kicking off, the holiday season has kicked off in Paris. So this past weekend, on Friday night, we had an event called Light the Night, and all of the merchants had their windows decorated. 4 or 5 of them had photo ops in front of or inside their store. On Saturday, we also had Holiday Hop, which always brings people to downtown. There was a good crowd for both nights. In fact, on Friday night, there wasn't a place to park downtown Main Street, so that was exciting. Only thing was we were looking forward to a photo op with the horseless carriage from Hillendale Farm, And because of the windy conditions and the wet weather, they were gonna have to load it onto a flatbed truck, and they decided not to bring it in. But they promised that they will bring it at some point for us to have downtown. And she did tell me that they would have it in the Christmas parade, so there will be an opportunity to, see it. It's really quite cool. If you are, Small Business Saturday is this weekend as well, so that's all over town, and that's a national event. So you'll see Small Business Saturday advertised all over the country. That's another opportunity for people to shop all over town and support our local merchants. Speaking of which, the Merchants Association, they're the ones that planned and, did the Light the Night and helped with the holiday hop. And in January, they're going to reconvene and put together, a whole year's schedule of what's happening downtown. We will also be inviting, others into that meeting that, do things throughout the community so that everybody can coordinate and, so that everybody knows who's in charge of what. So, we're looking forward to that. Jan Monsave at All About Kentucky is the chairman. I've been told that Ralph Quillen is going to spearhead a window decorating contest, so for the downtown merchants. So, they've all done a really excellent job this year of, filling their windows, and I've heard lots of compliments, and I shared all their windows on Facebook, and there's been a lot of good compliments from other places, like we need to go over to Paris. So, if you want, and if you haven't, and you better have, follow the Downtown District page. I've been trying to keep up with all the events that are going on, so I'm going through Facebook and adding them. Right now, there's like 42 things, and they're all in one post, and they're pinned at the top of the page. So now, of course, some of them are falling off, but I'm adding others. So that's a good way to keep up with all the things that are happening. This past Saturday, Stacy McKenzie from Southern Lux Style and myself appeared on Best of the Bluegrass to talk about Paris and Bourbon County. And we also have another commercial running on LEX 18. It's 15 seconds, and it's Shop Paris, Be Like Santa, Experience Paris, Kentucky. So I also encourage you all there's so many things going on at Mustard Seed Hill this year that I encourage you to get on their Facebook page or get on their website and look at all the things that they've added this year. Heck, they're even having igloos. So, and carriage rides. I mean, it's a huge list of events that they're having. So get on and go down and enjoy Bourbon County.
Is the book exhibit still scheduled for Saturday at the photo gallery?
Oh, yes. The, Bourbon County book that the Mountain Workshops came last year and did, the book is published, the book is out, and yes, on Saturday, there's a reception. So, at the photo gallery downtown, the books will be for sale, and all of the people that were featured in the books should be there to celebrate. So, yes, thanks, Sharon.
Okay.
We have Miss Sabrina Gordon here, who has been recently named as the official executive director for the YMCA. Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I don't have a lot. I just wanted to invite all of you guys to the YMCA for Community and Membership reception on December 12th at 10 a.m. Also, we recently named Amber Williams the Assistant Executive Director of the Y, and we both would like to meet everybody, answer any questions that you might have if you've not been to the Y in a while, tour the Y, and we just would like to see all of you there if you can come. If not, we'll her or I will be here, at city commission meetings, just engaging and making sure, that the Y is, an active, participant in what's going on here in Paris and Bourbon County, so, thank you all.
Thank you.
Ms. Lauren?
It's your last name.
I don't have any new news. Good morning, everyone. As many of you have seen, I have taken a new position and I'll be leaving the chamber December 7th, immediately following the Christmas parade. With that said, I will be contracting with the Chamber of Commerce until an undetermined date. The reason I say undetermined date is because the board has not yet approved that. We will be coming up with that date and that pay rate, and once that's determined, we will announce how long I'll be contracting. The reason I'm contracting is most importantly to finish our magazine, so that way we have something that is informative and substantial coming from the chamber in the absence of an executive director, but as well as kind of giving the board some guidance for account payables and various aspects like that. So I will be available. My new job is pretty flexible, so I will be allowed to do that through my new job. So I'm not completely, leaving as of December the 7th. I will be available for any guidance or questions, but the board, the executive board will be doing the hiring for the new position. I don't know when they're going to be putting that out. We are in the process of editing and adapting the job description. I'm helping with that aspect of it. But as soon as they have that available, they will be putting that out there for people to start applying. So, any questions about that? We're hoping to get good candidates. We are utilizing the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce executives to kind of give some guidance on the hiring process. The goal, they've been pretty clear, their goal is to try to keep somebody local. If they don't have an experience or not experience, but because nobody's experienced in chamber world, if they don't have somebody that they feel like fits the mold, they will start looking outside of Bourbon County. But just wanted to make you all aware of kind of what their thoughts are with that. Any questions? This has been a wonderful 6 years. I've had a great time doing this job. I'm not done working in Bourbon County by any means. I plan to volunteer at some sort of aspect or be part of some sort of aspect in the future. I don't know what that looks like yet, but I'm excited to move on to a different role.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I've truly enjoyed it. You all have been wonderful to work with.
Your work speaks for itself.
Thank you.
Brings us to staff. Any staff updates?
Oh, just normal. A lot going on the inside of the building. The office area is pretty much built. They passed the water line inspections on the inside Friday, so they'll finish putting up the drywall and start moving on that stuff. The scales came in, they're calibrated, ready. They're just waiting on the electricians to run their power over to them. Everything's set up for them. The kiosk is up. Asphalt base has been put down and around, so if anybody drives out there, you don't have to worry about driving through mud now. So it's a little bit better than it was. Columbia Gas set the gas meter, so now we're just waiting to get that connected and get gas into the building. And electricians are coming to start finishing up the electric in the building, cause municipal equipment's wanting to deliver the bailers and install those anytime as soon as we can get some power in there, so. It may look slow on the outside, but on the inside, a whole lot of work is going on and, just a lot going on in general. Not a lot this week, cause it's Thanksgiving week, but that's understandable, so. Any questions?
Appreciate the update.
Staff updates.
I do have one. Tomorrow is the last day to pay property tax to get the discount. 4:30 PM tomorrow, and you get the 2%. After 4:30, there will be no discount and no postmarked mail will be accepted for ordinance.
Let's see, we had our, investment committee kickoff meeting yesterday, so really worked on kind of coming up with an agenda for that particular meeting, how we'll run that meeting. We think we're looking to meet monthly through, especially through the budget process. So it was a good meeting, good kickoff, and, start getting some goals for that committee.
Just a couple of dates to keep on everybody's radar. On December 3rd at 5:30 in the commission chambers, I will just be hosting an opportunity for anybody who wants to come in and make any comments or ask any questions about the proposed entertainment district center. Just an opportunity for the public to voice anything that they'd like to say on that item before it comes to you all for ordinance.
May I ask you, along those lines, are you and the mayor still having your coffee?
We will look to schedule after the new year.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What time was that meeting?
5:30. We also will be on January 28th, following our city meeting at 10:30. We're proposing to hold a joint fiscal court meeting. We've been talking a while about having regular meetings. So have put out a calendar to the judge, who was supportive and believes that those dates will work. So our first one would be January 28th at 10:30, right after this. The meeting in April will focus on the budget, but if you all have any items that you'd like to make sure we add as topics for discussion for the joint meeting, please send those to me and we will make sure that they make it on the agenda. The days following that, on January 29th and 30th, if you all will please reserve your calendar all day, and I will send out a schedule as that gets closer, but I am requesting that we do a strategic workshop on that. The direction provided from that will help us in developing and deciding on the priorities for the budget. I have drafted a brief citizen survey that I would like to put out this week. And sent that all to you. It's intentionally kept a little simple. I would like to, as the years go on, we can expand it a little bit more, but until we get in a routine of them and the citizens seeing it every year, I'd like to keep it short to hopefully keep everybody engaged in completing the survey. So would like to publish that this week with probably just a 2 or 3 week turnaround so that we can get that data back as part of the strategic planning discussions. As a reminder, we only have one meeting scheduled for December, that is December 10th. At the last commission meeting, we set to do the review of the ordinance with the ethics policy through the KLC program. As part of that, we do have to assign one commission member who will go through the discussion of the renewal of the revisions with KLC staff and an ethics board member before it comes to the group as a whole. We will look to have that first meeting. It would just be one meeting virtual in January. And then there might be a follow-up meeting or two, but we anticipate that that would be a virtual meeting. I didn't know if there was anybody interested who really wants to take that on.
Mr. Fletcher.
We had who could Stan's hand went up.
Be my recommendation.
Commissioner-elect Galbraith, I've heard 2 recommend you.
3.
He don't have a vote.
That's
He's
right.
running.
I just wanna make sure we get a
You're allowed to
thumbs
talk.
up.
You don't have
All right, so we'll go with that. And then as a reminder, the offices are closed this Thursday and Friday in recognition of Thanksgiving, and so wishing you all, if I don't see you before then, a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Nothing.
Just wanna commend you on the Thanksgiving get-together you had for the city employees. Dave, we said amongst, you know, I know Wallace was there when I was there, and, people are just really, enjoy that, and a lot of folks were impressed with you and the job you're doing, as are we, and, just wanted to commend you for that, and keep up the good work. And you obviously think about each and every individual that works for the city, and they're seeing it, so thank you.
I appreciate that feedback. I certainly, anytime, food is the way to my heart, so anytime we can gather and eat, I enjoy that, and certainly anytime we can spend time with the employees.
Sometimes you get the truth when somebody's drunk or eating.
Thank you,
I will think I'm right, Rumpke runs on normal schedule.
That
Yes.
is correct, yes.
Yes.
And that's all I have, I'll move, we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.